Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to Sonari Gaming Shoot You Sir podcast featuring creator, content writer Graham Pike.
Hello.
Hello, and myself, Slicer. Today, the agenda is the usual what we're playing. It's going to be a bit of some shmup talk. There's some cave shmups that have just come out on Switch. We've got a lot of EDF probably to talk about because Graham's a big EDF fan and I've got into that recently. And then we've got some off topic, which could probably be guitars and other things that Graham's been up to and getting into. So, yes, without further ado, what have you been playing since we last did the podcast?
As you know, I had a bit of a rest.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was the effects of having the jabs. I sort of went to the stage where I was feeling that brilliant, so I sort of didn't want to overload my brain too much. So I did a bit of a rest because, as you know, they draw you in both with your eyes and with your brain. And so, but no, I've been the two games I've been playing most recently are EDF, as you know, and
nice.
I played a few sessions on 19XX.
Oh, really?
On the Switch, you know, it's like it's very similar to 1944. Graphics are a bit blockier, but actually the gameplay on it's really good. It's got lots of extra, things happening, and in some ways, I often think, they could show some of the more modern ones a thing or two. Those, I suppose you call them vintage games, really, but no, I mean that. I like, when it's one of those games when you first play, you think, oh, it's quite blocky compared with 1944, but once you sort of get past that, it's still visually very entertaining. Actually, gameplay-wise, there's lots of little bits happening all the time. You have to take into account. So I think it's quite a clever little game. And I think there's a lot in there that perhaps some of the modern shooters could think of. I've only played it a few times, but it just strikes me as there's more extras and things happening gameplay-wise, which you don't see in some of the more modern shooters. Tend to be a bit wham bam, thank you, man. Either a bullet hell or there's I think just little clever ideas to give you choices and things. Just perhaps sometimes lacking in some games.
So it's an older game.
Well, I think it is. I don't know when it first came out because I haven't really looked into the history of it. But I think it came out similar time or just before. But graphically, it's definitely older than 1944. But obviously, this is the Capcom arcade version, so I'm guessing I don't know what they've done to it visually because I never played it in the arcade.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I've been quite impressed with that. So it's like a lot of those arcade, Capcom arcade games. You can have them in any sort of visual format you want them. As if you're looking at an arcade machine to full screen, which is what I have, and a few in between, of course. But I like the full screen, and it works well with a horizontal sort of two-player shoot 'em up. Might have only been playing it in one, but no, I think it's a good little game. It hasn't got a lot of pizzazz or the sort of atmosphere, say, of some of the more modern games or some of the cave games, but I think it still looks really good. Yeah, it's sort of Second World War-y, sort of modern, with a bit of modern chucked in.
Nice.
But it's all. I think the gameplay is what makes sense. And I say graphically, once you stop thinking about it being a bit blocky, it actually looks nice. And they do some good ideas. So yeah, I think it's well worth looking into. I say 1944 is a good game, as we both know. We've played it quite a bit. And I had a quick go on 19XX when I first got the game, but hadn't really given it much time. But I thought I would, and I've been quite enjoying playing it.
Nice one. I'll have to give that a go.
There's lots of little extras in the gameplay, just simple things, and you think, and they're happening all the time. Every now and then, or every level, something comes in. What have you been playing?
I've been playing some Mushihime Sama on Nintendo Switch.
Are these only in Japanese at the moment?
No, they're coming out on. I got it through the English Switch store, so they sort of decided to just drop it when they announced it. So went on to the English Switch store and picked up Mushihime Sama. It's £15.
It's funny because a couple of days after you told me about it, I was on the store just on my computer, put in the name, nothing came up.
Oh, it was. Let's have a look. Because when I went on there, it was on just in the new games section. I was like, "Ooh." Yeah. And it's all in English.
Yeah, well, I've only got the English one, so I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's they announced Mushihime Sama Dodonpachi Daifukatsu, which is Resurrection, and Galuda 2 will be coming out later in the year. That was a lovely surprise, especially having Cave on Switch. Oh yeah, it's not on there. That's strange.
I haven't checked since. I just checked, I don't know when it was, a week or so ago.
Oh, it's not coming up. Yeah, because as soon as they said it was on the English store, I was like, oh, screw it. I'm just going to go on the English store and get it. That's strange. I was following Cave, and there's a couple of Switch news places, and then I was reading up on it, and it said it dropped on the English store. I'm pretty sure I got it on the English store.
Yeah.
I'll have a proper look after this. I'll get back to you about it. But they're meant to be releasing for the EU, for Japan and America, which is nice. I've been playing Mushihime Sama, so it's nice to have it not on the 360. Not that there's anything wrong with the 360. It's nice, but it's nice having it on the Switch. I can take it anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And it's just nice to see Cave games on a modern console as well. So
sure.
I know at the moment it's only Nintendo, so I don't know if they plan on whether that's a timed contract and they're going to move over, because it makes sense if you're Cave to make as much money as possible, and people with other consoles are going to want to be playing Cave games. So
yeah.
But for now, it's only on the Switch. So I've been playing that. There's a couple of other, sort of going back over older shmups. Obviously, I was playing a lot of Blazing Star fairly recently.
Yeah.
I thought I'd give that a break. And then I got into EDF. So after we did our sessions when I was up at yours, it was sort of playing on my mind a bit. I was like, that was a fun game. Maybe I should pick it up.
Yeah.
And picked up, there's a flash sale, I don't know what they call it, where they were selling loads of the EDF games. So I picked up, I've got PlayStation Plus, I picked up EDF 4.1 for about £3 something.
Cool.
All digital. I will get them.
Yeah.
And then EDF 5, Iron Rain, which I'm not.
No, I don't like those offshoot.
That was
because they're not the same programmers, are they?
No. Same publisher, different developer, but they're the same. It's too serious. But it was as expensive as 5. It was quite expensive. And picked up World Brothers. That was all right. That was more like an EDF game than Insect Armageddon and Iron Rain. Yeah, and it sort of spiraled out of control a little bit because I got Global Defense Force.
What's that?
Global Defense Force. So I think it originally came out as Monster Attack, the first EDF game, and then Global Defense Force.
What console's that on?
That's PS2.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing EDF 2 on the PS2. Because the first game we got was in Japan. It was called the Japanese version of Earth Defense Force 3. But when it came over to the 360, it was called Earth Defense Force 2017. That shows you how long ago it was, because it was obviously prior to that date.
Yeah.
Which is actually the game we're playing at the moment, because we played 4.1 through, and all the levels and all the mission packs and that. And then we I said, let's have a go. Now we've got the 360 again. Why don't we ever go on 2017?
Nice.
Which I picked up for next to nothing. I think about £2.50 of that. And it's no doubt about it. It's definitely slightly primitive compared with 4.1 and even 2025, 2025. I mean, but we were quite enjoying going through it. It's a bit like seeing how it all started. As a 2-player game, the biggest thing which isn't on that first one is in the later ones. If one of you dies, you can run over to them, press a button, and you give half of your health to them. So you're both slightly more vulnerable, but you can't do that in the first one, because one of us died, so I sort of ran over to try and you won't do it. So you can't do it on that one, but so which is bad, because if one of you makes a mistake or wades in and realises they're being outclassed and gets killed, they've got to wait the whole level. You're trying to finish it off. No, whereas the other one, because me when I play with Karen, it's like we always end up miles apart. And then I think in 4.1, when there's a little skull and crossbow, a little skull, and you just so you know where they are, and you just start running over in that direction and killing people, trying to keep your health up, because if your health gets too low and you give half of it to them, then you're both incredibly low. So. But apart from that, I don't think it controls well. I found some of the long distance weapons, especially when you're using the zoom, or not when you're using the zoom, in fact, it seems very not so accurate and not so smooth.
Oh, okay.
But it's still a fun game. If that was your first one, you'd enjoy it. But I think 4.1 and the other ones have just moved on enough to make you notice the difference of that.
Yeah.
Graphically, it still looks quite nice. I just think it's gameplay has just been honed a little bit more. And they've added a few little things which have made it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've been enjoying playing that 2.2017 or 2017. I don't know when it came out now, but it must have been a few years before that.
Yeah, noughties, I'd have thought, middle noughties. It's on the Xbox Live Gamer Pass thing.
Yeah.
I tried it. Actually, it's still a lot of fun. Like you're saying, it's a bit more primitive. But I got to a point where I was playing too many different things. I'm like, right, just stick to one.
No, yeah. So, especially on your own.
Yeah, so I did the 89 levels, 89 missions, on 4.1, and I've got one of the mission packs. So I've got the first one.
Yeah.
But my armor's not high enough. I need to level that up. And I did a couple of streams with it. I did one on YouTube, and then I've done a few on Twitch just to build up some armor and stuff and see what Twitch is about. And streaming through the PS5, so sort of learning the ropes for streaming because I've not really done that. Since I got to mission 89, I've started playing EDF 5 a bit more. I think I'm about 55, 56, something like that. It's obviously very similar, but also quite different in other ways, like the way that the weapons level up and you pick up weapons and things is very different.
Yeah, I started for 4.1 really. I think 5's good, but in the earlier ones, it seemed obvious that quite often, like if there was a load of extra bugs coming, they would either be dropped from, flying saucer type things, or they were coming out of nests from under the ground.
Yeah.
But in the 5, they just seem to suddenly appear. You obviously use your radar a lot. You've seen off a load of people, and suddenly there's a big wedge of them over to the left or right. And you're thinking, where do they come from? Nothing dropped them. There's no nest there. Because I used to like the nest thing. You had to get there, try and destroy the nest and keep it alive. Because you're firing at the nest, it means you can't so much fire at what's trying to get you. So
yeah,
I liked all that, but I just thought I don't know why they did it, just to make it harder, I suppose. But yeah, there's some good things. There's those I can't remember what they are now. They're like long highlands with like crystals at the top.
Yes, like teleporters. Yeah, they call them a specific thing.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, there's some good things like that. And I know I do prefer the robots, but I quite like the giant frogs as well. They're quite funny when you hit them. I tend to, as a distance weapon, I either use the Goliath and the Goliath 2, or quite often once you get a powerful sniper rifle, it's actually the good thing about a good sniper rifle is the early ones you can see the bullet time, but the later ones it's almost like an instantaneous hit. You're not like with a missile, you fire it, bang. But with this, it's like as soon as you fire it, it hits. So it's actually. And I quite get a buzz from trying to get into a semi-safe position and picking people off from a distance, or especially those big frog characters. Because it's quite funny, like you wham them with something, and they sort of like they're moving around, wondering who's going for me. So I think people can't see, It's quite nice, but yeah, they're quite amusing aesthetically, and the vibe was better on the big robots. But I've always liked big robots, so it's a bit more impressive than the giant sort of man frog thing.
It feels a bit more polished, but I think it's just because they maybe had a bit more time to work on it. I noticed that 5 came out under a shorter period of time, so I wonder if 6 is like a more polished version of 5. I know it's set later on, but yeah, no, do they call them the cosmonauts in 5? Is it cosmonauts? The big aliens, the grey aliens.
Yeah.
When they first come, they're like, oh, they're robots. So they're not robots. You've got to shoot their helmet and their armor off, and then you can shoot.
That's right, them. Yeah.
I thought those were quite fun.
I like. Yeah, it's a nice little progression in the way things go. Yeah,
they're really quick as well. Those things. Oh my. Yeah, it's when they first appear. What I thought was really funny, because obviously it's sort of like B-movie lines when all the characters around you are talking, isn't it? And with the frogs, they look like humans. And then when the grey aliens that look like humans, they don't even look human. It's like, well, they look more human than the frogs.
Yeah. That's part of the fun is the melodramatic speech from the soldiers and that. What's it? We're going on a thrilling underground expedition. That's what they say when you're going underground to kill things. I just think it's just kind of an inappropriate thing to say, but yeah, they're quiet.
I forgot to bring any bullets.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so well done.
Don't forget to aim. That's another one. Yeah. And what another thing that slightly annoys me in an amusing way is on a lot of the games, because you played the earlier ones, you know that, well, it didn't take much to work out even on the first game. There's alien craft, you fire at them, nothing happens. They open up underneath, you fire inside them, it damages them. It doesn't take much to work. And then you've been doing that for a couple of levels, and then the commentator parts like, these are not, you can't damage these, and wait until they open inside and fire inside. Well, I've been doing that for 2 missions already. But yeah, it sometimes gets a little bit behind itself. It's all more comical, but I do like that sort of 50s sci-fi comical sort of thing. It makes it all more charming in a way. And there's no other game really like EDF.
No.
We've looked, and I've tried a few other 2-player, sort of into the screen 3D shoot 'em ups, and nothing's like it.
Yeah, there's nothing quite on that. It's almost like old-fashioned gameplay, but with a modern take. And
yeah. I mean, that's what they've blended the idea of, like, they drop power-ups and you run through them like you used to do in 2D games.
Yeah.
And things like that. It's all sort of it's a nice crossover of old and new, done in a really good way, and it's not technical, but yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it to you on, I think it was, I can't remember if it's 2017 or 2025. Some of the buildings that they had, like, like in a flat, they've got like an outstairs staircase to get to them. You could run up them, and sometimes it was a good way to get it out of the way of things. And but you can't do that on the later ones. They're just not there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
go on.
No, so I like the way that you can pretty much destroy anything. Which is quite a great big ornate sort of tower. Get that down. It's in the way, Well, I find myself sometimes, like, I was playing the 17 the other day, and like, if you've got a powerful weapon, you fire at something that's too close to you, it damages you.
Yeah.
And you get your own colleagues running backwards and forward.
Yeah.
You've got a bazooka or equivalent in your hand, firing forwards, and they think it's all right to just swan around. So I just stand back, get my machine gun, and shoot them out. I don't like to kill them. I just say no. But yeah, well, I mean, I don't like killing them. Sometimes they're quite handy. But the most annoying things about your own characters is, one, they get in the way. Two, when you get down to there's only about 3 enemies, you think, right, let's pick up all we can before we finish them up. They finish them off for you. That happens again and again. You think, oh, there's a ton of collections. But no, there's only 3 things. They won't do much damage. Because they're like an ant spitting venom at you. It doesn't really do a lot of damage anyway. Yeah. So you can just like ignore it, run around, pick up as much armor and weaponry as you can. And but no, they'll bump them off. I mean, in quite a few missions, they're all dead before you get to the end anyway, so it's not a problem then.
Yeah, no, that's really frustrating. And like non-playable characters from the city running towards you, away from it,
staying help,
and you're firing, and then bang, just. Yeah,
I quite like. When you first start, there's often the first few levels of a game is you're in a city. And you can see in the distance a huge sort of horde of ants usually or whatever. So you just like get on your bazooka and just like fire. But the trouble is your characters have all run up and fire machine guns spots up. So you're not only hitting them, but you're hitting them as well as the ants. But I think, oh well, I'm safe. But yeah, I suppose I suppose if say you deducted points for killing your own people, I might not do it more. But
yeah, I wondered that at first, whether something would happen if you're shooting them, would your health go down a bit or something? But
it or
doesn't,
lose points or something. I like there's on 2017 when we just I don't know whatever we're on now at the moment, but I think we did 2017 about 5 times. We started off on easy, up north. We've done it all the difficulty levels as we did with most of them, but we get to that stage where if you've got whatever your like stingray or whatever your bazooka is, you hit a red ant it doesn't. You have to hit it twice to kill it. So the first one sort of flies up in the air. So if you're clever, fire it and then hit it while it's in the air. That's like clay shooting, clay pigeon shooting or something. But yeah, it's quite good fun.
They've nailed the satisfyingly just really tear into things, or just, and especially when you've got a spider, those spiders that leap, and you get it just in the air as it starts. Just great feeling.
Have you? I'm no doubt that you've come across the green ants.
Yes.
Are they in 4.1 as well, aren't they? I think
they're on the pack. Yeah.
But like that, when they first came along, they just knock you for six. They don't pick you up or anything. There's one thing you fire, and then a herd of them, and you just boom, knock. But what's really annoying?
Really fast. It's like
they're faster than anything else. I remember another thing that happens fast, and you run. You spend. I really want to get if you're on outside in open countryside. Sometimes it's advantageous to get up high. So you spend ages, because some of the places you can run up, sometimes you can't. Because if it's green, you can usually run up. If it's like brown, rocky, you can't. It's too steep. Anyway, so you get up, you spend ages getting up to the top, trying to kill a few things. Get up there, something picks you up, whizzes you, and you end halfway down again. Have you guessed that yet? It's pretty annoying, especially dragons. They don't often grab you, but when they do, they can fly off with you. And you can sort of drop ages. It always made me laugh because they pick you up, they shake you around, and that, and you're firing continuously out, but you don't really take a huge amount of damage because you've got really advanced armor, I guess.
I was really impressed when I saw the dragons. I wasn't expecting the dragons at all, because obviously we played it, and there was the ants, the spiders, and the hectors and things, and then the
hornets.
Yes, I don't think we got to the hornets. I think that was later as well, but they look really good. It's like, dragons, and then the hornets look good as well. The yellow really pops, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's, I mean, my very first play with dragons, I thought, I don't really want to shoot dragons, but you have to. But you're always thinking like be more on your side rather than against you. But they aren't. But it's funny how they often it's almost like with dragons, they all fly in, they all land in one space, and then take off again. So we're all in that one space. Pummel it all with us. But I think they like purple blood.
Just getting underneath with the machine gun going, and then as they're getting closer, just roll away and then do exactly what you said. Change to bazooka and then just fire it when they're.
I quite like doing that with robots, because when you hit, usually when you get them a machine gun, they sort of start jittering like that. When you, what's quite good is to get them down, and then just as they're recovering, change to bazooka and finish them off. But what's really annoying is when they explode, you can't see anything. It's just like this massive sort of yellowy haze. Where's that pickup? Where's the power ups? But anyway,
some of the weapons you pick up, mostly in 4.1, because I can't play harder levels in 5 until you've completed the last mission. So I've still got to do lots of picking up loads of armor and building that up. But at 4.1. Played Inferno a few times. Some of the weapons you pick up are insane. There's like a volcano napalm. I was like, what's this? I was playing it on the stream and I went, doosh, and it hit one of the hectors, and it's just napalm fire just bursting straight up through it. And all of a sudden you just hear explosion about 20 seconds later. It's just had enough.
I like some of the weapons, but some of them aren't really useful. Like when you first play the game, you think, I wonder what that does. Oh yeah, but that's no use in this, so I've got to go back to something else. and in the end, to be honest, we always play. When I very first played, I always used to use a shotgun. But really, when you're surrounded literally by ants, you need a machine gun. Machine gun is my number one weapon. Number two is some form of either Stingray or Goliath, or as I say, quite like the powerful sniper rifles are good as well. But you can use the good thing about sniper with a sniper rifle. The bad thing is you can't knock buildings down with it. The good thing, you can shoot something straight that's right in front of you and it doesn't hurt you like it would with that. And some of them are as powerful as a missile than rocket launchers are. So it's quite useful.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, not that that's anything to do with shoot you, sir, but it's sort of.
We said we would talk about some EDF.
But it's a good game. They're good games. Should I say?
What I've got a machine gun that's got 999 bullets in it. Do you have that one?
909? No, don't know actually.
It's quite over. It almost feels overpowered at times, but when you're playing on harder difficulties, it's quite useful because you don't have to reload. Whereas a lot of guns, you'd shoot what's in front of you. You might be moving.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And have to turn around.
Yeah,
no, you just keep your hand on the fire button and then spray behind, which is quite good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed in 2017. If you do stuff, it interferes with you reloading, but in the later ones, you can pretty much do anything. The reloading carries on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
I didn't realize that.
Because what I always do is, especially if I'm surrounded, if I have a machine gun, as soon as I see it start to reload, I start doing my sideways roll because it keeps you out of the way of things more. And then, but you carry on reloading. I'm not sure if you still do on the other one, so it doesn't do. But anyway, yeah, little tactics. But yeah, you do tend to rely on the same. I've seen other characters that are getting my nerves. Those flying women, I've forgotten what they're called now.
Oh, the wing divers.
Yeah, the goddesses of war. Every time they come, what they do is they get killed or they get stuck in webs. And they're just thinking, they're not, we do all the killing. They're just like, the Rangers and that do all the killing. They just fly around and get on your nerves. I actually shot one of them once. They were getting on my nerves and just sort of with a Goliath or something. So she made off this like really pitiful noise. But anyway, I don't usually like shooting other characters, but you think, oh, and they land, donk, and they land straight in front of you. But yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, they're not much use to anybody because as soon as the giant spiders come up, they're knackered, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I do like those. I can't remember what they're called now. It's the really big spiders that build the big nests.
Yes,
So they
they're
make a-
really creepy and
Yeah, and when
Spindly.
they shoot, they make a really weird sort of gurgling sound when you shoot. But yeah,
they
Yeah,
get
they're
you
good
from
fun.
so far away as well.
Yeah.
Don't they?
and they start dragging you towards them. And the worst thing to go, sometimes you can get stuck against the building. They can drag you against the building, and you can't get away. Because it's weird. It's funny how their thread that they get you, that can go through a building. I don't know
Yes.
how that works, but it can drag you out. I haven't happened many times, but once or twice a while back, it dragged me up against the building and I couldn't get sideways. So I was just stuck there. It's weird because you can't shoot that. You can shoot the webs, but you can't shoot those threads off you.
Yes.
So it's quite weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
usually when it's dragging it towards you, I just like kill anything gets in the way. And as soon as you get near it, you just lay into it and it's dead before you get to it usually.
Yeah.
So I was saying a lot of this like suicide. So like when an ant picks you up, it's just killing itself, isn't it? Really, because you're just going to fire a machine gun into it until it dies, or you get thrown away. But it usually throws you because it's dead
Yeah.
or dying.
The ants you get later on that take a lot more damage, and there's
The
a
gold
bazooka.
ones.
Yeah, I've not got to the gold ones yet.
All right.
And I've got a bazooka. I think it's got 4 or 5 times you can shoot it. So they're chewing you in your mouth, and you're shooting with a bazooka, and they just go doom with chewing you in the mouth up and up in the air. That's quite a laugh. You just go higher and higher up while it's chewing you while you're firing off this missile launcher. It's like, you sort of spin
there's some good.
down.
Yeah, there's some good things in it. Have you got into one of those giant robots yet?
Yes. Balam, is it called Balam?
Yeah.
Balam?
It's
Balam?
like once you get the hang of it, but basically it's a pretty useless thing. I like most of the craft I don't use it, and there's a big tank there. I don't want to get in that. It just makes you more vulnerable, and it's slow. Those Balams, it's like really slow sort of punch. Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite good fun if you manage to get one of the big dinosaurs, wham it in the, knock it over. That's a bit of fun, but I still rather.
There's a great novelty when you first do it, I think, because you get to punch this thing that been almost indestructible since you started the game. But yeah, when you got to do it again, and then it does it the same in the sequel, you're like, oh, this is a really. And then there's loads of ants crawling on you, and you fall down. Takes forever to get back up.
The pilot of the Balam, if you're not in this, get these off of me. Get off yourself, But you're firing at them and you're hitting him as well anyway. But it doesn't seem to make much difference. But yeah, it's all good fun. What's really annoying, like some of them, you just want to back away a bit further and you get to the edge of the playing area because nowhere is infinite, is it? It's just like you get to this area. But yeah, no, I think they're great games. I mean, they must be pretty good because we've played them so much over the last, since what? How long has it been going? 25 years? Not 25, about 15 years or something like that. Must be a while, mustn't it? We've been, playing them, not constantly, but we've had really long sessions over a little bit of a break. And then a new one comes out, so we start on that one, and we don't get bored with it.
Yeah, it's just nailed that fun and humor.
Yeah.
It works so well. And like you're saying, there is that limit, but actually, when you're playing the game, it doesn't feel like you're in a small. The scale they've managed to get is really good because in 4.1 you have to roll all the time to get anywhere. But it's the scale.
It's a good way of catching up with people. So if we encounter staying together like we do in the dungeon, not dungeon, the underground bit. If she's ahead of me, I just tend to roll sideways, and it catches up with her. But it's a good way of. I like the way that when you're underground, if you can't see ahead of you, just fire one of your bazookas and it lights it up briefly so you can see what's down there. It's good. But I mean, it's not realistic. It's not trying to be. I mean, how can you have? How can you carry a bazooka or a machine gun and keep firing and having an infinite ammunition? It's just like weird. But I don't think of it like that. I just think it's a game and it's a good one.
Yeah, I think again, like you were saying, with the it drops all the items, you've got to pick it up like an old 2D game. Very sort of thing with the 2D game where you have to reload, but actually you do have infinite ammo.
Yeah,
and that you don't see that anymore because they're trying to be. We've touched on it in other things. They're trying to be too realistic.
Yeah,
Call of Duty and stuff, and they play well, they look good, but they're trying to be realistic. This is not trying to be realistic, but it's created its entire own world, and you're in it and you actually feel part of it, and you have a laugh, and you can make them sing and all those little things. That song in 4.1 is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it gets more depressing, doesn't it?
It's not something much that we use really, the singing side of it, but I've always enjoyed listening to them singing their sort of nonsense songs, the soldiers and that. But no, I was going to say that. But yeah, there's a lot of I think it is a game, and I don't need to be taken into a real situation. I'd rather have an enjoyable game, like that really, than thinking, I can't carry too much ammunition, or machine guns overheating and all this sort of thing. God, yeah. You get that a lot of, especially the robot games. Some of the robot games, you can only fire so long, and then you're overheating.
Yeah.
But.
You wouldn't have a lot of time anyway, and the way that it plays, you're bombarded almost constantly. I know there's a few missions where it's a bit slower, but most of the time you're having to constantly deal with stuff, and then while you're reloading, you're having to roll out the way and make sure you're not. If you're worrying about something reheating, I suppose that's why it takes not warm to wing diver and things like that, because you have to control. They use the jet, don't they? And then some of their weapons come off the same energy that their jet uses. And it's just really awkward.
The Ranger is far the best character, because I tried Wing Dive, and I tried those heavily armoured characters. I've forgotten what they're called.
The fencers.
Why would you want to play one of them? It's slow. They haven't got much in the way of distance weapons. So you always have to go. No, Ranger's by far the best character in my view. What I do quite like is I can't remember which game happens, but they talk about your character from past games. It's like, the hero that defeated the thing back in 2017 or 2025. There's rumour he's about, and they're talking about you, which is quite nice. It adds something to the feel of it,
Yeah, that's in 5, because I had that the other day. You're right, that exact feeling of, it's carrying on from the other game, and
and your character is remembered, and it's good. I like the whole thing. I think it's really good games. Sometimes it's mad, when you get out of your depth and you've gone too far and you haven't got powerful enough weapons or an armor, you can get frustrated. But now you've just got to go back and do a few other levels.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing as well, because its concept is fairly simple, but actually it is quite a challenge.
Yeah,
you can't just charge. When you first start, I usually play on normal, but and then I play on hard now and hardest. Now I've got my armor up, but you hit, I think, because I was emailing you saying I'm stuck on this level, what do you do, kind of thing. But it is a matter of going and raising your armor and trying to get a slightly better weapon than the one that you have.
And I often find that it catches you out because you get to stage where, in some levels, you're so powerful that you can pretty much wade into whoever you want and kill them before they take your level. And then suddenly the next level they ramp it up, and you try it, and that's it. You're dead. You just get surrounded and dead. Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a perfect game, but it's pretty good.
Yeah,
the way they've done it.
There's a reason why it's lasted so long. The series.
What's that grey bit of sponge on the right, on your left-hand side?
It's soundproofing foam because I'm right next to a wall.
All right.
So I've got that. There's a huge echo that bounces off of it, so I can move it back a bit more. But yeah, it's
that doesn't bother me.
I can't get it any lower than that.
It looked a bit like a shark fin, because you just see like the triangle top. Yeah. He's even got soundproofing, has that?
Yeah, because all you hear is almost just a direct echo if I don't put that in front of because it's a condenser mic. It's annoying, but it's those games are a lot of fun, and I was streaming them on Twitch. Some bugger has taken Sonari Gaming on Twitch, so I couldn't be. So we're Sonari Gaming 69.
What is that? I've not been on Twitch. I don't really know what it is.
It's just streaming. So where YouTube you can watch. I suppose you can watch pre-recorded stuff on Twitch as well, but Twitch is more people live streaming. So they would tell you, my schedule is on Tuesday. I go online and I'm playing this. Wednesday I'm doing that. But it's not just games. There's musicians and things. They can go on there and do live performances and things like that. And then you can save the videos afterwards. I just wanted to try it because everyone kept banging on about it. And I've never really... When you go on the site, I don't like the layout of it. But as soon as I started using it, it's one of those things where you just get used to doing it. But I still prefer YouTube. It's not the same sort of thing. YouTube you can learn things from, and YouTube's been around longer. I think Twitch is only really blown up the last sort of 6 or 7 years, although it's been around a long time. It's only really blown up recently. But when we last streamed to YouTube a year ago, we didn't have much luck. So I think Twitch is built to really do that really well, and YouTube's slowly gotten to the point where it can do that well. So I'll do it more but for YouTube, most of the stuff we're doing, I'm doing on YouTube at the moment is to do with shoot 'em ups. So what I don't want to do is put loads of stuff on there that aren't shoot 'em ups, because it will just mess with the algorithm. And if subscribers are on there for reviews and shmups and us playing shmups and things, they're not going to be interested in me playing Cyberpunk, or they're interested in me playing EDF or something. So I have to put EDF on there. So
yeah. So how somebody put Sonari Gaming on Twitch then? How does that work?
So they must have just chosen then that as their name for some reason. It wouldn't let us just have Sonari Gaming, which is strange because I'm quite lucky because my username's SlySR, so I get that on anything new I go on. No one else has got that. And we were the same with Sonari Gaming because it's Uranus backwards. It was always Uranus Gaming, so Sonari Gaming. But someone must have, or it means something else in another language maybe, and that's their surname or something, and then it's gaming. So it's yes, but if you look us up on Twitch, when Sonari Gaming 69, so I've got to put a bloody number after it. Fine, 69. So
take the
it stands out more than 1 because Sonari Gaming 1.
Yeah,
you won't remember, but Sonari Gaming 69, you remember. So.
You should put Sonari Gaming, the official channel.
Yeah. Shoot you, sir. We recently did a competition to win my copy of wherever it is it's in a safe place. My copy of
it's in your safe, isn't it?
It's in my safe of Shikhondo Soul Eater, and we've had a couple of responses, and we've chosen a winner. I've just been trying to sneakily try and find what the name was, but bear with me a second, and I'll edit this bit out while I have a look.
Oh, so he did Darius Gaden, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Alex Rushdie.
Alex Rushdie is the winner. So thanks, Alex. I will email you if you can send me your address, and I'll get that posted out to you probably next week while I'm up north. So pop into Royal Mail. I'll take it up with me. And well done. Congratulations. And we'll put your review. Go on, Graham.
Yeah, it's a good review. And we enjoyed reading that one. So, and we enjoyed the other ones as well, but I think his was the best.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
thank you for people that did go in for it. Sorry he didn't win, but Alex has.
I'm sure we'll do another one next time. So congratulations.
Yeah, well done, mate.
And I will contact you soon.
So what else were you talking about today?
Well, we've not. It sounds like both of us haven't been playing very much shoot 'em up.
Oh yeah, I mean, apart from 19XX, I haven't played a lot.
And me, but I always bang on about that. So
yeah, I was saying to you, when your dad was up, I was saying that I think the injection seemed to affect me a bit. I wasn't fit the second one. I didn't feel rough at all, but I seem to be prone to getting a bit overheated. You know what I mean? Like a bit, not like really bad, but I just feel like a bit having a hot flush, if you like. And my head just felt a bit warm, you know, and that sort of worried. But it seems to have gone off now. But yeah, for quite a few weeks afterwards, it wouldn't happen all a lot, you know, but every now and then I'd just get really hot, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd just go out in the cold or whatever and cool off. But yeah, I felt a bit lightheaded a few times, but I didn't feel really ill or anything. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons that I just stopped playing any sort of games for a couple of weeks. And then I said to Karen, I said, let's have a go on some EDF. Just doing like 5 levels at a time or something like that. 5 or 6 levels. So it's been good.
You can enjoy it more when you have a break as well. Sometimes you can overload, especially if you're writing reviews all the time and you're putting the fanzine together and you're playing games. It's a lot of information.
That's true.
Yeah, so I mean, I managed to get some news this month as well.
Yeah, which is
we're struggling for news.
Yeah, no, it's good that things are happening. Things are still, you know, strong in the 2D shmup world.
Yeah, it's good to see, and it's finally good to see Cave finally rearing its head on sort of modern day consoles. Again, hopefully that'll make its way over to the PlayStations, that you can pick it up as well if you don't pick it up on Switch. There was another game that wasn't Cave that I was looking at that's coming out that's meant to be really good. I can't remember what it was. Oh, and I did an article, I think it was last month, on Razion EX or Razion EX.
Yeah.
Because they did that sort of get it now and then you've got to buy a bulk of them, and it all was a bit shady.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
I didn't bother going in for it this time. I was like, and I looked on eBay and someone's selling it for like 120 quid. It's like, they're only selling it for 40 quid. What?
Yeah.
So it's they're feeding scalpers, and they're encouraging it as well. I was like, well, I don't really want to support that as much as I'd love to play the game, and it would have been nice to get the game and then give it away as well.
Yeah,
a rare thing, but yeah, I'm not sure I can.
Where was it being developed?
Good question. I think it was somewhere in Europe. Might be Germany, somewhere like that.
Yeah,
probably.
Germans do quite a few shoot 'em up. To be honest, I do tend to prefer stuff that originates in Japan. It just seems to be more to my taste. I'm not saying I haven't enjoyed some of the European ones, I have, but no, I know a lot of our old sort of favourite shoot 'em ups, the development companies aren't in existence anymore. So I still think it'd be nice to see. Oh, it's nice to see stuff coming out from the old ones, but I like to see new games as well. I mean, we've had some good new games, you know, like Rolling Gunner and Crimson Clover and stuff like that. But yeah,
I just like to be gone.
I'd like to see really. I don't know. It's just a wishful thinking what is going to happen. I'd really like to see somebody concentrate on a really high quality, proper 2D shoot 'em up, as in what we used to call hand drawn graphics, not computer generated.
Yeah.
Real sort of bit like sort of Blazing Star, but even better, you know. Bit like they've done, as I always say, a bit like Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah.
The way they've done that for shoot 'em ups. So just keep the 2D sort of hand drawn graphics and just make them as high def and as colourful and as special as you can, you know. That would be nice. I'd like to see a couple of the good companies doing that. Nothing against indie companies, because there's been some great indie games, but it's nice to see, you know, some of the games companies are still around.
Yeah,
Because a lot of them,
go on.
they sort of they don't fold, but they just stop producing games and just like even like Treasure and people like just seem to be bringing out the old ones. I don't know if they've
Yeah.
lost their programmers or what, but it's a
Yeah,
shame.
sort of milking their back library.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're not doing new ones because they just haven't got programs to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, especially if they're a Japanese company, they know there's a following in Japan and a little bit that.
Do they have a big parent company like Microsoft? Because Microsoft went around buying tons of companies, and then they just didn't release. I don't know why, but they bought a load and they've just not released any of their.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit like the music business, doesn't it? About these people that buy up rights to songs and back catalogs and that, and then they just don't do anything with them. It's just, it probably could have been, the whole thing could be being manipulated by the really big companies. I don't know. I don't look into it enough to know anything about it. It wouldn't surprise me. But on a selfish level, if we do get some good games coming out, preferably, I do want to see new ones. I mean, I love the old games, but I don't just want to play games I've seen before. I want to see something. I want to see something knocks my socks off. I think, wow, look at that. That's what I want to see. Perhaps with something like with the graphics of the new R-Type Delta 2. Is that what it's called?
Final?
R-Type Final 2, yeah. There was a Delta on the PS1 or 2, I think. Anyway, R-Type Final 2, but more 2D, more hand-drawn, and just, a bit less R-Type-y. You know what I mean?
It's, you're right, because the modern, when they do make a new one, it's either old-fashioned, like they'll do it 16, 32-bit, or they'll do mostly 16 and 8, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or if they do it really modern, they do try and be really flash 3D graphics of that 2D plane. And it looks good, but like you're saying, it'd be nice to have something that's specifically 2D.
Some of them look better than others, don't they? I mean, as you know, we've mentioned many times, Zero Gunner 2, that's more computer-generated graphics than the more what we used to call hand-drawn, but it still looks good. But I'm not in any way dishing anything. I just personally, that's what I'd like to see. That sort of really old-fashioned graphics, but brought up with this, like, all the technology. They only look like that then because that's the technology they had. And there does seem to be a strong interest especially on the downloaded games on the PS4 and the Switch, for these sort of old-fashioned 8-bit and 16-bit sort of simple games. And other consoles have done, as we've mentioned before, updates graphically on old games. So I'd like to see some of that with, I just think, we've discussed this before, but just take a simple shooter and just add little bits to make it interesting, or a little bit different from what was done before. That's all that's needed. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a massive revolutionary change, because it wouldn't be the same genre then. It is a genre, so you've got to work within it. But
some of the new flashier looking shmups, they look really good, and then they just can't get the feel of it, the way it plays just right. So there's always something about it, like it feels slightly loose, or there's something about it you can't put your finger on that is just stopping it from being as good as they're probably trying to make it. But
there's all sorts of tiny elements which come together to make something great, or to make something not bad. But it can be anything from the crappy sound effects to, as you say, control not quite working, or even the gameplay not seeming that right. You can have a really rock hard game and you get killed a lot, but you feel that's how it is, rather than that didn't play well. Or it's getting that balance, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of because I've not played a lot of shmups this month. Usually I'm playing them all the time, but the only thing I've played really is Mushi Imisama, and I've thrown my Switch over there, so I can't look at the other stuff I've played. Oh, I tell a lie. Before I really got into EDF, I've downloaded, because I used to have the disc for Battle Garega and is it Sorcerer Striker or Sorcerer Striker? I can never remember.
Oh yes, Scorcher, isn't it? So it's
something like that. Yeah. Really good game. Really good game. I was enjoying those a lot. That was a lot of fun. I think I sent a review of it around the time I was playing it. They're a lot of fun, and it's nice to have Battle Garega. I've got a thing about Battle Garega apparently, so I had to kick. I really want it. And I was like, I don't really want to spend a lot of money, but getting it again, I was like, I'll just get it, the digital one, then I can take it with me, and then the next console that comes out, I can re-download it again for free. So,
how much does it cost?
it was about £35, £40, something like. It's one of the M2 shock triggers. You probably get it. I think if you buy the disc, the original is like 60, 70 quid, the same as Ketsui is. It's quite a lot. But the digital download's cheaper, which is strange. It's normally the other way around. But yeah, it was that. And I think Scorcher, whatever it is, SS. Oh, that doesn't sound good to say. SS Striker. Oh, your new guitar.
Can't show you, I'm afraid. It's
you
in
can't?
the shop.
Oh, no.
the you know Bigsby's.
Yeah.
Well, there's different types. There's about 6 different types of Bigsby. But the one I've got, which I tend to put on smaller body guitars, it goes under a tension bar. So the strings are wrapped around a bar, then it goes under another bar, and then up to the bridge. But the better Bigsby's just have this thing at the back and it goes straight. Anyway, so what I wanted to do is remove the tension bar. But to do that, there's like a circlip. You know that? There's like a little circle clip thing. You ever seen them? So it's like, basically, you've got a retention bar which goes across the Bigsby, and at the end, there's a circlip to keep the bar in place.
Oh, okay.
And if you take it off, you can push it through and remove it. I couldn't get it off. I watched on YouTube, and this bloke got 2 Diddy screws, because it's only small. I mean, it's probably about that wide. And he said, "Oh, it's usually hard on this." And he got it off right quick. I couldn't do it. So I said to my mate Tony, I said, "Oh, can I bring it down? You get the circlip?" Yeah, no problem. He said, "Oh, I can get some pliers to do that. You can get these little circlip pliers." All the pliers he had were too big. And anyway, he did get one, but he's been filing down these files. Because it's like a pliers. So that's a plier, and then you got a bit sticking out like that, which is what you put in the clip, and you pull it open, and it pulls the clip out, and it comes off. But he couldn't get it in, couldn't get them in, so he was the little bits in with T6. So he's been filing them down. Finally he got. He said he's been like filing them on out. For ages. Finally got it thin enough to go. It went in, and as he pulled it open, they broke off. One of them broke off.
Oh no!
Thing in the way. So he still hasn't got it. So it's been in the shop like since yesterday. Because I was there for about an hour and a half. I thought he was going to do it in like 5 minutes, and I'd be taking it home with me because I can do the rest of it. I was just going to set it up differently slightly. And anyway, so it's still there. He's going to ring me, and he's sort of doing all his efforts to try and get it sorted. It's only a little. It's just one little thing, but we can't get it off. Because you can't like hack away at it because you probably whacked it down with paint or something. So you have to be a bit careful. Oh, it's just a little diddy thing, but the trouble is you want to keep the circlip because if I ever sell it on, which probably will happen, you want to have the facility for someone to put it back in if they want to. Yeah. As some people think, but because I had a Bigsby on a semi-acoustic Gretsch before with it, and that had a retaining bar. But the way it was positioned was I didn't even have to take the bar off. I just ran it over the bar. I didn't actually touch the bar, but there was still enough of an angle because you've got to have bridge here, and it's got to have a bit of a rake to it. You can't have it flat. There wouldn't be any pressure on the bridge. So you got to for that. And as soon as I did that, the whole guitar just felt much more resonant. And because I haven't got a tension bar, wrenching the strings down with that map and a really too sharp rate, the whammy bar works better and everything. So that's what I want to do with this one, but I can't get this circuit off. So
it should be back by the time I'm up next week.
Well, I hope so. If he can't do it, I'll just bring it back. I'll just don't know what I'll do, but might fun. So yeah, that's a bit of a blow. But I got that Dynacomp thing I mentioned to you, MXR Dynacomp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Go? It's only a 2-knob compression.
Is that the red one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of them? Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I had one years ago. It was really good.
Yeah, it seems to work. Yeah, I just use it when I've been trying to sort of get a decent rockabilly sound for a long time, and I quite struggled to get that sound. And there was a video of some bloke I've seen doing a lot of videos just saying this is how you get a decent rockabilly sound. and one of it was compression, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get one. And I suddenly thought, well, I'll get one now. And it does make a difference, but it's just getting the balance right. You only want a small amount of compression. You don't want to like really squeeze, because I don't like it when everything sounds. You want to have a little bit of up and down, don't you? So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's it was, when I went to buy that, I tried a few other guitars. I tried another grip out, and it was a vintage actually. It was a Les Paul, like a Les Paul custom sort of thing, with binding that. But it had 2 P90s on it, or what's Wilkinson pick. But actually, they were really decent P90s actually. But that was the one I was thinking I was going to get, because it was cheaper as well. Being a vintage, it's cheap, that 300.
Yeah.
300. But when I played this one I got, the pickups, their Filtertron, it just sounded so much nicer. I just thought, yeah, I mean, and it looks nice as well. But I wanted the vintage in lots of ways, but I just thought, no, you've got to go with the sound, really, haven't you? And so I went with the Gretsch. It's only a Electromatic. It's a cheaper one, but it sounds good. And it plays
I like the finish on it. I thought it looked really nice on the picture.
And it does, and the actual finishing is pretty good. There's no sort of glaring. There's no sort of, the whole finish is very, very smart, very nice.
Yeah.
So for very little money, it's not a bad little guitar. So yeah, have you seen? You haven't seen that white bass? That's the sort of vintage white jazz bass I've got now, have you?
No, I don't think I have.
I sent you a picture, didn't I? Did I send you a picture?
You might have sent me a picture. I've not seen it in person.
Do you want me to show it to you? No.
Go for it.
Hold on. I'll take my headphones off.
We've had a haircut as well. Oh, wow.
It's a real beauty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a really nice bar. I like everything about it, really. Yeah, that's called an American Original 70s jazz bass. I don't know what makes it 70s. Obviously, the overall aesthetic, and the bridge pickup is very slightly closer to the bridge than is on the 60s one. But yeah, I've been out a couple of days doing metal detecting this week. Monday, Tuesday,
I was going to ask you about that and how it's going, and have you started?
Well, yeah, Charles, the drummer, he's got this field by his house, so he's away this week, but he said I could just go up there and start. So yeah, it's quite weird because it's like I was in my 20s when I last did early 20s, so it's nearly 40 years since I last did that. No, it's been quite good. I've been getting little bits of gear as well. So, it's been quite nice. So yeah, it's gone well. It's very simple to operate because a lot of them are like, I don't know if you've seen them, but you've got like these screens, and it's like a couple of little computer screen. There's loads of different things.
Like an alien.
Yeah, it's like that. Usually, like you hold the handle, there's a thing on the end with the screen.
Yeah.
I've had those type of before, but it's not new. But they're getting more and more. I just don't really want all that. I just want. Basically, my one is you just got 2 knobs and a switch. You got one which is sensitivity. So basically, you just get it. So you can just, if you listen close, you just get like ooh sort of sound. That's the sound, obviously. And you get discrimination, which basically trying to get rid of unwanted metals like iron. But you don't want to have too high because it start cutting out other things you might want to pick up.
Yeah. So
I usually have discrimination on about 2 or 3, about 3, I think. And then, so it takes out. It doesn't cut out iron completely. It cuts out small bits. And if you get a massive chunk of it, which I have found a few massive chunks of iron, then it will still pick up on that because it's like oxidized and all this sort of thing. But and all you got, and then you got this switches. It's really handy because metal detectors, or most of them, work. They're motion detectors. You have to move them to get for them to work.
Right.
So like say you got your little coins sitting there, ying 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 ying. If you just held it over it, it wouldn't pick it up. So you do like ying 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 ying. So anyway, you get it. But then this has got a pinpoint switch. So you press it down, and then it works as a stationary detector. So you can use that.
Okay.
It's quite good for detecting exactly where, as close as you can get.
So you swing it to begin with, and then when you start to hold it.
What I do, I've made some little markers, which are basically big sort of like metal things with a hook on the end. I've just put some highly coloured sort of cardboard, plasticized cardboard on the end, so I can see them from a distance.
No.
So I mark off little blocks, If you just wander around a field willy-nilly, you're going to miss stuff.
Yeah.
So I try and do little areas at a time. So I just walk forward very slowly, just going like that in like a little arc, and keeping it as near to the ground as you can without whacking it all the time. Because fortunately, the crop, there was like I don't know what the crop was. It just looked like green with yellow flowers, but it wasn't rape. I don't know what it was. But anyway, that's all been cut, so it's perfectly flat now. So yeah, you go along, then you get you pinpoint whatever it is, and then so I've got this like stainless steel spade, which is downstairs, and this is about I don't know, about that big, and what you do is you cut out a plug. So you get your center point, you just go around it in a circle. You go down, you give it a little bit of a pull back, go, and then that's how you got like a big plug of earth, and you just like lever it out. So you go dunk.
Oh, okay.
So the idea is you want to put it back in. You don't want to. You can't leave holes around wherever it is. Farmers won't be very happy that if you just anyway, or even child wouldn't be. So anyway, so what you tend to do then you run your detector over the plug, see if it's in there. Sometimes if it's really deep, it's like even lower down, So you have to like dig. So sometimes you have to destroy a bit of the plug to try and find out where this thing is. Because sometimes it's something really dinky. Sometimes it's you see it. Sometimes you just see things. Oh, there it is. Sometimes it's like, well, you're pulling the earth apart. Oh, I can't see anything. You run over it again. Oh, there it is. Pull it, and then it's just tiny little bit of. But it can be anything. It can be anything from. The only thing of any real interest I've had is William IV farthing, which is really worn. It's about 1830, so I don't know that.
Wow.
But it's really worn. You can just make out the head on it, and on the reverse it's Britannia. But I couldn't see it. I don't know what that is. Counted. It looks like Britannia to me. And anyway, it's quite good. I've got this like forum I go on called Metal Detector Forum, and they've got a Fines ID. So
MDF.
MDF indeed. And I looked up on some. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it might be a sixpence or something. So I looked up, and I thought it looked a bit like George III, don't it? So I just put on this like George III ? Very worn coin. Anyway, literally a few days later, somebody comes out, William IV farthing, So I looked up that on Google, and I could see that's what it was. So they're a very good use of them, and they're it's a good little forum to go on, and they give you all sorts of information, and there's loads of stuff on there if you want. But no, it's nice. I mean, I only tend to do it for about 2 hours a time. I suppose it's slightly physically demanding because you're up on your feet all the time, and you're digging, and you're scrabbling around. And because I've done a lot of exercise recently, I've done like 2 hour sessions. My top of my thighs ached. See, I didn't notice it at the time, but like the next morning, top of my thighs were aching. It was weird. But that's what you get for being out of condition. But yeah, at least it's some exercise. It's just nice to be out in the field doing something for a reason rather than just sitting around saying, "Oh, it's nice here," isn't it? It's nice, and you can hear all sorts of bird calls. Because a lot of people use headphones so you can hear the sound better. But I can hear it really well off the speaker, so I tend to just use the speaker. That's what I do like about that. It's really sensitive, and it's loud as well. It goes, you can't miss it. You do get slightly lower signals. But I think when you get better at it, you can pick up what sort of metal it is by the way it sounds. That's what they say anyway. But at the moment, I'm still on that's a good strong signal. Sometimes it does a double blip. Did it? What is that? I'm not sure what that determines. But no, I'm just relearning what I did before. And it's just like when I first started doing, I was doing like really quite small plugs, And trouble is, you'd build up, and then it would still be there, but it's like to the side, you have to extend the hole. So now I do quite a big plug to start with, and almost always it's either in the plug or just a bit further down in the hole. So I don't have to cut bigger bits out, So yeah, it's pretty accurate, and it's not an expensive machine. It was only like 314 reduced to it, but you can spend thousands on them if you want.
Getting that coin early on is a pretty big win as well. A bit of history.
Yeah. It's and the funny thing was, I know it sounds cringy, but I dug up a load of. I dig up these little things. They looked a bit like mini paint tubes with brass nozzles. And I think, what the hell's that? And I counted it looks like paint tubes. Anyway, I put a little picture of all the things I found on my first, and apparently they're called cow tubes. I think they use them for antibiotics. I'm guessing they jab the nozzle into the cow and squeeze it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But why they just whiz them, I don't know, because I found about 4 of those. But yeah, the climate. But the funny thing was, I found bits of rubbish and nothing of interest. This was the second session I was on, and the only other thing I found was like a bit of pattern metal, and I thought it looked a bit like a little escutcheon you get on like drawers or a corner of. But it was it's been in the earth, so it's slightly bent and weird looking. So I put it on this thing saying that a picture of things I found. I said, well, this thing's not. It still looks like it might be furniture related. Anyway, some guy says it looks a bit like a Saxon's strap. That was a Saxon stirrup strap mount. I thought, oh, that sounds good, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So he said, you want to take a picture of that separately and put it on, and as another ID find. So I did that. As soon as I put it in another place, that's like something like a bit of furniture. And then somebody got to put up a picture of something very similar. And I said, and the bloke who wrote saying he thought it was his Saxon mate, let's put the end to my theory then. So yeah, it was something like a bit of furniture. Unfortunately. Saxon stirrup mount. Oh yeah, yeah. Just something. It'd be nice to have something from like earlier medieval times. Would be great.
Yeah.
But it's funny things to do. But yeah, it was a good find. But yeah, obviously, I don't expect to find anything worth a lot of money, but it's just nice to find things that are historic, of interest, and share it with other people. But yeah, I've enjoyed doing it. And I would have gone out today, but they said it was going to rain, and it didn't. I don't really want to go out and do it in the rain. That's just too much more of a hassle, you know. But today
you don't want to get a cold or anything as well.
Well, yeah, it's part. I haven't had a cold for about 8 years. I'm not worried about that. I'm just more worried about. Well, I don't want the machine to get. I mean, it's the bottom part's waterproof, but I'm not sure about the machinery part at the top. And you don't want to be walking around in the rain and digging up holes in the rain, do you? Unless you're a real fanatic. Yeah. Perhaps when if I ever get that fanatical, I might. But no, it's one that I don't. As long as it's not raining, I don't care what the weather's doing. But yeah, I want to try and do another day this week, tomorrow or the weekend. The weekend's supposed to be half decent, so I don't spend the whole day doing it. I just spend 2 hours or so. So you find stuff anyway. I think we've done that enough. I bet you're a bit bored hearing about it now.
Well, no, it's interesting. I mean, it's something I don't know anything about, so it's cool hearing about something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very old technology.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, share, subscribe. Go to slysr.com/shoot-u-sir. Download the latest issue of Shoot You Sir. And we'll see you in the next one. See you soon.
Bye. Bye.